All right, Grand Rising, great day, greetings to you all. You are tuned in to the Good Morning from Africatown, Los Angeles morning show, prime time. And this evening, we are standing in solidarity and unity with one of our own, Uncut, as he is going through situation in life. We want to show some support and solidarity, and as well as explain to you all why the United Empires of Cuba is here, is relevant, and is supportive of our Black community. So you all stay tuned, hit the like button, share, subscribe, and we're going to get right into it.
Warning, the following program contains strong Black first opinions about mature and strong subject matter that affects Black America and the diaspora as a whole. Listen at your own risk, you sissies.
Grand Rising all. You are listening to the one and only Be One or None. Good morning from Africatown, Los Angeles.
All right. Again, Grand Rising. You're tuned into the Good Morning from Africatown, Los Angeles morning radio show brought to you by the United Empires of Cuba. You are tuned in with D Mays from Mind Games Uncut.
Peace. Can y'all hear me good? Because I'm on I'm not on my mic.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yep, you sound great.
Okay,
We've got Queen Kathy B.
Hey everyone.
Yes. Queen Lynn, aka Black Love 17.
Hello.
And then myself, Angelina, aka Queen G. We're so excited to be here with you all. I don't know if we're excited. I think we're always privileged to be in conversation and unity with anyone that is engaged and listening. But this conversation this evening, I know we touch on a lot of different hot topics, and we relate them to what's going on with the United Empires of Cuba. If you don't know what the United Empires of Cuba is all about, I definitely want to suggest that you check that out. There's a link in the description to our website. So check us out. But we have broad conversations that affect social living, Black culture, and all that good jazz. But this evening, we are talking about support and unity where it hits home. And this conversation is in regards to one of our own, D Mays with Mind Games Uncut. If you all don't know him, shame on you. You should. Shame on you. Always bringing positive Black empowering conversations to the table on all different platforms. So we're super excited for anybody that's here live or on replay in solidarity for his situation. And I will let him explain that, if you will, as you all hit that like, share, and subscribe button wherever you're listening. King.
Yeah. What's going on, y'all? Yeah, so I had apartment 5, last Sunday. Probably around what time it was. I'm gonna say about 7 something. Yeah, probably like at 7 something. I just got home. But anyway, yeah. Hey, things happen. We had a candle. They don't, like I say, the candle was like on a cloth close to the curtain on like a table, and we always burning candles and stuff, but my mom, she just happened to take a step out, just for a quick second, 10-minute walk, and I was just pulling up, and like I don't know, I mean, like I say, it don't take long for a flame to get going, so I guess when they called into the curtain cloth or whatever, it kept going, and it happened so fast, man. Like, and let me tell y'all something. I thought I didn't even care about the apartment. I'm thinking she was in there because she has a condition, TBI. If y'all familiar with TBI, it's like a brain injury. Look it up. If you're not familiar with it, but sometimes when you sometimes if you got that condition, you can sleep. You go into a deep sleep and you won't wake. Actually you'll wake up, but you won't be able to hear stuff. Like most people when they sleep, they've been in a deep sleep. So I thought she was actually in a deep sleep, and I was thinking oh man, I'm telling y'all the feeling. Just to think about it now, just like thinking she was in there, that was my biggest concern. I was trying my best to get up there. When I tell y'all, movies that they talking about,
you
you
have
can't.
a heart attack right about now, D-Max.
Yeah, I know, and I'm like,
OMG.
yeah, I'm glad she was safe. But the thing is, like the smoke, when you hear stories about people trying to go into a house that's like on fire or whatever, or it's the smoke is worse than the fire. Actually, like that smoke, I got to the top of the steps. I think I showed y'all pictures of the steps. So when I got to the top of the step by the hallway, it was pitch black and it was so hot. When I say unbearable, like even if I wanted to, I don't care. Yeah, okay. Thanks for the picture. Okay, yeah. So you see, but the top, I could you see the vacuum cleaner, but yeah, appreciate that. So that's the stuff they got in there now. It's like a humidifier just to keep the moisture, like keep the mildew and stuff. So when they go in there and start doing anything, that's all the bags we packed out. We still got to go over tomorrow and pick the rest of the bags up out the stuff we could save. But yeah, that's my studio, y'all. That's the office studios. So that's pretty much shot. So but yeah, man, we went. Like I tried to get up that top of that steps, and it was like when I tell you, I tried 3 times. I'm not Superman. If I would have went in there, I probably died because I like the smoke. And then some of the guys came in there with me, they couldn't do so. And I went outside, grabbed the water hose, like they really gonna do something. And I'm trying to shoot the water through the window. And I really didn't talk about that too much, but I try my best to get it down. So hopefully I could get in there and make sure she went in there. But I saw her walking up the sidewalk. I'm like, yes, like yeah, man. Like,
okay, I was gonna ask where was she?
yeah, because we got a park like over there right where we at. Like we got the dog park, we got tennis courts, all the amenities out there. So she just take a breather, walked outside for a second, and yeah, that fast it happened. And then the fireman said things like that happen. They happen that quick. Like, it can, like people who be boiling like eggs and stuff, and on the stove. Like,
Let's
a
not
friend of
even
mine.
talk about that.
Yeah, a friend of
Because
mine.
that was
He had it.
me
Oh, really?
the other
You had a
day.
friend? Yeah. Oh, really? I had a friend last 2 weeks ago in his neighborhood. It happened to his neighbor, and he said it took the whole house out though. Like, yeah, they was at work, and the son is a fireman.
Oh,
Crazy. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just glad everybody's safe. Like stuff can be replaced. So we've been in a hotel. We in one. That's our second hotel right here. So waiting to get into this like Airbnb type house, like for a couple of weeks to so we can have a stove and wash and dry. You know what I'm saying? Because eating
right.
out is killing the pockets right now. So
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
we trying to
sure.
conserve. Yeah, so
I'm glad everybody's okay because that sounds
Absolutely.
too scary.
oh yeah, that smoke, man. And then like I said, that's the damage was the smoke and the water damage because a lot of time when you have a fire, that the chief told me, he said that the damage is gonna be mostly from the water and the smoke, and that's what it was. We was able to get a couple things out, but not a lot. But the only good thing about it didn't. It's only the top level. It destroyed everything on top level, but not the downstairs. Even though
So
some
it's a
stuff downstairs.
townhouse.
Sort of kind of like but it's the apartment. It
Okay.
looked like one, yeah. But uptight's big. It's got 3 bedrooms, yeah, 2 baths, yeah, kitchen, patio, yeah. But yeah, like I said, downstairs, the only thing they said the sofa, gotta get rid of the sofas and stuff because of the smoke and stuff. We get into the sofa, but they're gonna just that's pretty much it. Like I said, the kitchen good, so yeah. So they didn't test the kitchen, so that was kind of transfer a lot of stuff over to the kitchen. The stuff we could, but everything else pretty much gone. Yep.
And for everybody that doesn't know, TBI is traumatic brain injury. Okay, so everybody that's listening, and thank you for sharing that story. Here's the thing: I've seen people. Like, I have loved ones. Like I'm in Indiana that live downtown, and they like that ritzy lifestyle. Those high-rise apartments or whatnot. But I have somebody that lives downtown, like on the canal, and it's upscale kind of thing. But there's only one way out, right? There's no front and back entrance. Like they're on the 5th floor. There's no way out. And the windows don't open all the way. They're like bolted down. It's a safety issue. And then like with the fire escape, you have to think to yourself, if with your living situation, whoever's listening, if you're in a high rise apartment and there's a fire, you don't use the elevator. So can you get downstairs? Can that's a serious issue that people should think about. So I'm just gonna throw that in there just for you all to have something to consider, especially as we get older. But I'm so grateful that you are safe. Yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, like I said, and I tell people like folks being supportive. You'd be surprised the people that was and the people's not. But I get it. I mean, it's hard. Like I talk about my partners, times are hard out here. Some people are able to give, some people not. Some people try to give what they can give. Like some people give you clothes that's too big for you, whatever. But they just trying to be nice, and I respect that. But like I say, just the money pretty much right now, because like I say, hotel and food pretty much. So, and thanks for all the donations that have been helping us out a lot. So hopefully we actually know something tomorrow about this spot, and now won't have to worry about the hotels, and we can cook again, because we used to cook and we don't go out to eat like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we cook. Right. So it's like this, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yesterday I had to wash. I had laundry to do because I had to wash some of the clothes. Some of the clothes. So one thing the Red Cross told us, and shout out to the Red Cross. I will say the Red Cross gave a couple $100. A lot of people talk bad about them, but they came through on my end.
That's good to know.
Yeah, they get. And then my nonprofit most definitely was generous. They put us in a hotel for a couple of days and stuff. So I'm thinking to myself like, okay, something that I created actually will benefit me. But look at we got people. Oh yeah, exactly. Like my team, that we got people that they make sure we good, stuff like that too. So just like the UEOA, y'all came through and stuff, and yeah, man. Appreciate the love, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about. You see who your I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna make nobody give me anything, but if you can, like say, like my girl said, $5-10. You don't care. We ain't telling you what to give us, but whatever you give is helpful, because I understand the situation with people. Some people just can't give. I had a cousin I ain't talked to in years, and she gave me a good bit of money. I was very surprised. I ain't talked to her like I'm not saying probably about 10 years. And she saw it on Facebook, and she like, I wish I'd give more. I'm like, cuz I mean, I only gave something,
That's wonderful.
But yeah, you have been supportive, most definitely. So that's what it's all about. That's what. Yeah.
You never know who you can count on until times get hard.
Oh yeah, and some people, of course, some people ain't checked on me. I mean, even if you can't get help, give nothing. I mean, at least see, the brother all right, because. But some people just like, okay,
Yeah, that's why I say, everybody listening, please at least share this conversation. At least like it. If you don't subscribe, that's fine too. But at least like it for the algorithm, because I don't think we realize, like, if you all don't know D Mays, like I say, he does Mind Games Uncut, and they're always positive conversations. They're deep thought conversations. And then he has a nonprofit, which I'd love for him to tell you all about, in Atlanta, Georgia, supporting the Black community. And that's very powerful. If you realize that there are strong Black men that still need and require the support of the community. We're only as strong as our weakest link. And so if we're looking for our strong Black men, don't think that they don't need support from men and women. And there's nothing wrong with that. A real man will support another man. Not just support women. Absolutely. They will support another man. I don't know what this simp thing, cis thing, whatever you want to call it is, but it's weird. If somebody needs help and they're doing the work in the community, it is expected that you reap what you sow. So I'm not, D Mays is not asking, but I'm asking. The United Enterprise of Aquila is asking for a support and solidarity.
Right.
Because it could be one of
each
you all.
other more. now than ever. We need each other more now than ever. And it's a good thing to see that so many black people are sticking together to do the things that they always thought, oh, they're not going to do it. We're sticking together. So those same black people sticking together who support black businesses, D-Mates is a black business. Support him at this time of need. Thank you.
Yeah, like Jay Z, I don't like quoting some of these celebrities, but like Jay Z said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man. Like D Mays is, I don't want to say he's a brand, but this is what it is. And this brand is black empowerment, is selflessness, as well as UEOA, but this is what we're focused on here is with D Mays, but it's all in collaboration.
Appreciate that.
And that's what we're all about. And I think it's amazing what he does. This is the first time I think the panel and our family, our UEO family, has actually heard in more detail what happened with this situation with the fire. We've just been supporting in whatever way we can, but this is the first time we've heard it with you all. You don't know people go there, but when we speak to him, when we reach out, like, he's always positive. I don't think any of us have heard him complain, be bitter,
Nope.
be angry,
Nope.
be
Mm-mm.
blamed. It's just like, it's all good. It's
Never.
gonna work out. It's not God's guidance. It's nothing weird. Like, he's been positive the entire time, and that's genuine. He has no reason to be, unless it's genuine. So definitely, if you're listening, again, please share on your platforms and hit, like, when you share, put at followers so everybody can see this.
Appreciate that.
Because it's important, and you all might need something in the future. I might need something. Queen Lynn, we might need something. And it might not come from you all listening, or you might on this platform, but it's going to come. So no, we don't expect anybody listening to financially support, but if you can, just think about it, because it could be you. It's $10, it's
Exactly.
$20. What did you spend? Somebody went out to eat because you didn't want to cook today and you didn't do nothing all day. Somebody got, Gucci purses and Prada bags. And if you can support somebody that spent X amount of money on cigarettes, drugs, and alcohol, and you can do that too, just pay it forward.
Facts.
You can be
What I
blessing with
always
this.
say is they're not going to do things until the shoe is on the other foot. When the shoe is on the other foot, it becomes a big deal.
And that's true, but it makes it harder. Let me tell you why it makes it harder. Because there's something that happens where you realize that there was an opportunity to help somebody else when you could have. Not when you didn't have it, but when you could have. And it was dismissive. And now, even if you are blessed and you get assistance in your situation, it's just that much harder, because you made it harder for someone else. Even if they didn't know, you made it harder. You know what I'm saying? So just think about that. Just think about that. And it's not that, yeah, just think about that. Because I think we all need something. And again, I can't stress this enough. When it comes to our Black strong men, our masculine men in the community, don't dismiss them like they got it all together and they're supposed to have it together, and so they don't need nobody's help. That's a lie. And that's not fair. So the link is in the description. As far as D Mays' Cash App, we're asking that people donate either directly on that Cash App link, whether you're listening live or on replay. And if you're listening on replay, I hope it's because somebody shared it with you and you decided to listen and support. But you can also go to the UEO website. That link, I think it's the second link in the description, and it goes straight to the UEO report regarding this matter, where you can actually Cash App. And then the third link, I think, is D Mays' Facebook page, where you can actually see some of the video footage that he's taken and share it with the community, as far as what's going on. Like I said, I don't think it's not a struggle. I know it's a struggle, but like he's taking it in stride. So when you see the video, like, he's just sharing what's going on, but like he's been positive the whole way through. So however you want to see fit to assist, that link is in the description. Um, and it is Cash App. If somebody wants to donate a different kind of way, I know everybody doesn't like Cash App. You all can email us. What is it, you all? Is it info at Acubalon, United Empires of Acubalon? Is that what it is?
I think it is info at
The
the
United Empires
United
of
Empires of
Acubalon.
Iran. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll put that in the description in just a second. If you want a different way to donate, just email us and I'll put that in the description or the link in just a second. But we chose not to use GoFundMe or whatnot because from my understanding, um, it's so tricky. There are many stipulations with it where if you say the wrong thing or you do the wrong thing, like they siphon that money. And nobody really has time to be playing with other people's platforms when we're serious about this. There have been
Really
people
can't
that have gone to
speak.
GoFundMe for funerals, and because they say the wrong thing, they take that money and they don't really care. So if you want to support, I would like to ask you to trust our website and our intentions. If you don't, then that's at least fair. That's fine. That's fine. We're not trying to take nothing from you all. Either support or don't. I would
Facts.
like to say, I mean, if you do, I would like to request that you put your email address in there. Like under the what is it? The reason why you're giving money, what is it? Y'all know what it is. Where it says why you're giving the money.
The
Put
comment
your
section.
what is it?
Is it the comment section?
Yeah, no. Under Cash App. Let me look.
Oh,
Hey Angie, don't mention the mug. You said on the mug.
Yep, I am. I am. I am.
Okay.
Let me look at this real quick. When you do, oh, when it said, okay, so it's on Cash App, it says 2, and then it says 4. When you put 4, put fire, and then put your email address. That way, we would like to send you a thank you note, just to let you know we appreciate you, and it'll come via email, okay? Because we don't want to leave anybody out, but that way we can tell you we appreciate you. Every time somebody is donated from the platform with D Mays, he has thanked everybody, every single time. So we want to be able to do that. And then also, anyone that donates more than $50, we will gift you a Mind Games mug signed by D Mays. Go to
that's
go to our
nice.
website and look at
I love that.
yeah, go to our website and look at I have to update it, but I will put that image of the mug on there. So anybody that donates $50 or more, we'll give you a signed mug, Mind Games Uncut, signed mug by D Mays. And we will
Can you
send
drop our link
what's
in the
that?
chat? Can you drop our link in the chat?
It's actually in the description.
Website.
So yeah, let me
Okay.
Appreciate that.
yep, I'll do that. Let me see. Yep, I'll do
Did
that right now.
you posted a picture of it? You on what? So you got to go on the website.
I'll do that. I'll put it up this evening.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it'll say Mind Games Uncut, and then it'll have his signature on there. Again, $50 or more donation. And this is why. And D Mays and I talked about this. This is why. Because it's very interesting how people have a difficult time doing something for nothing and not understanding how you reap what you sow. So here with you, Yoy, when we bless other people, we don't expect those people to return the blessing, but we do expect a harvest from wherever. And I don't know about you all, but I want my blessings and my harvest from the haves, not the have-nots. So if you are lacking and we bless you, all we want you to do is pay it forward to somebody else.
Facts.
So because of that, because it's so difficult for people to say, you know what, let me just help because I have extra money. Because I smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. How much are cigarettes now? $10? I don't know. Like you can't cut back. Like you eat out every day. You know how much DoorDash is? And I'm not counting nobody's pockets. I'm not
A lot of
knocking
money.
nobody. Anybody knows me, I'm very frugal. I'm not cheap at all, but I'm very frugal for such a time as this. It's cool when you have money, you just splurge and you just spend it like it don't matter. Like you can just automatically replenish it. But when things happen and things hit the fan, we all are connected. And what happens to one of us affects all of us, whether you know it or not. D Mays being out of commission affects a whole lot of people that are waiting for what he has to offer. When Queen Tina, straight no chance of the Queen, is out of commission, tending the family, Queen Lynn, Queen Kathy, it affects other people. So the support
That's
is
true.
needed. And if you don't want to support us, you need to find someone to link with where you can support and it comes back to you. Not because you're doing it because you want something back, but because it's the right thing to do. And that's where that tenfold comes back to. It's very interesting how we dive into religion and whatnot, but you don't understand the universal law. So we're not counting by his pockets. If you don't have it, that is fine. No big deal. There is no judgment. Nobody's going to look back and say, you know what? They've been following me for all this time. They didn't help. They hit like all the time. They didn't help. Nobody's going to say that. But we do want to acknowledge people that are able and willing to help. However that looks like for you. 10 is the same as 100 when your intent is good. Because it's all going to work out. So if you will, please, again, go to that description in the link and do at least look at the United Empires of Cuba website. Again, the specific link in there is tied to this conversation in the blog. But see what's going on with the UEOA. We're all about
Exactly.
building the micronation and Black unity. And it's interesting because this conversation starts at home.
Exactly. I want to say too, I'll be back on y'all. I've been out with hiatus, as they say, on my podcast. But I'll be putting content on probably tomorrow, even later on tonight. But yeah, I'm trying to get back to the swing, get back, to the swing of things because there's a lot of moving and just getting stuff together. So it's a lot. Yeah,
Absolutely. And look at this king. He just had a new grandbaby. Look at that. Who
appreciate
doesn't
that.
want to babysit this little baby? Look at them cheeks.
Too
Three generations.
adorable.
That's
Three generations.
adorable.
Oh,
Yes, and a handsome son too.
absolutely. He looks like
Coming a
he's
good.
taller than you. Is he taller than you,
Oh
D-Maze?
yeah, he's 6'3". Yeah, I'm 6. He's 6'3". And my youngest son, he's like
Uh,
he's the short. I think my youngest son like 5. I think he's like what 5'10", I believe. My youngest son, yeah.
don't
So
laugh at short people.
Wow. And how many girls?
two
Is it
girls.
two?
I got two
Two
girls.
girls?
Yeah,
Okay.
my both of them tall. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you
Wow.
all see, like, he is a father, he's a grandfather. If you look at his Facebook page, he's always in the gym, he's always motivating positive things, and he's in the community. Like you said, he has a nonprofit, you know. He's a busy man. And we all know that women are busy. He's a busy man. And he's doing the right thing. So we definitely want to support where we can. And I'm gonna put this up here really quickly. If you want to scan that QR code for the Cash App, so all this is going directly to D Mays. There's no middleman, nobody's messing with nothing. Yeah. But like I said, when you go in there and it says for, make sure you put fire and then put your email address.
Hey,
So we can
Angie.
contact you. Anybody with the donation of $50 or more will send you that mug. Um,
Papa said he didn't get the link. Appreciate that though.
that's what you say about the link.
Pablo said he didn't get the link. He's he's in the text. He said he didn't
You
get the
know
link.
what, Pablo?
I can forward it to him, Angie.
Okay. Let me see. Were you Queen?
Yes, I will. I'll forward it.
Pablo
See,
got
we are
it.
all about helping each other out.
See, Pablo has found that he come up, he pop up like Mr. Well, I ain't nobody like Mr. P now. Mr. P be gone for 50 years and pop up.
Oh
But
my
he come.
gosh,
Mr.
I
P
missed
is
Mr. B last
good.
time he was on.
I gotta meet up with him. He here in Atlanta, so I gotta link up with him and stuff. So yeah, he ain't too far from where I'm at. Matter of fact. So yeah, I
That's
appreciate
what's
this.
up.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate the shout out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I said, I do a lot of work, but like I said, at the same time, it's all of us. You know what I'm saying? We got to make this happen. Like I say, I would do the same thing for y'all. That's what it's all about. We always talk about practice individualism in our community, and we don't do that in the UEOA or either other circles I roll with. Like everybody, we are one. That's the mentality we got to have. Because we had that mentality, we'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Nobody won't hurt because everybody working together in solidarity, like you said. So that's our whole mantra. That's what we all about. We got to live it. We need to have other people in the community be on the same page. I land my plane.
Absolutely. So speaking
That
of
is
that, will
exactly
you
it.
tell everybody, like, so you have the nonprofit, and so like I know when I connected with you through the UEOA, like I think we've all had our own things going on, and we came together um to build and grow the UEOA. Starting with Queen Tina Berry, Queen Kathy B, Queen Lynn. Um, so can you explain your nonprofit? Because I want everybody to understand, like, we are individuals, but we do need to come together with our individual talents and explain what you do in Atlanta
Yeah,
and
so
why
I'm
Mississippi.
I'm the founder of Men of Intelligence Association, short called Moya. Started in 1998. Just a vision of mine, and we started as a community group um, here in the Metro Atlanta area. Just doing first, it started as a book club. I tell people we actually started as a book club, and we started to expand and get more involved in the community. And now we got contracts. I mean, it's a lot. I'm just going to shorten it up, but now we got contracts in the city here in the south side of Atlanta. We take care of our senior citizens, cut their yards, clean their gutters, cut trees. We got programs for young black males. We pay them to clean up the community. Actually started back up this next month actually. So the program is from June to August. So they go back to school in August here, and we pay the kids pretty fair. I'm not gonna put all the information out there, but yeah, they learn how the importance of keeping their community clean and stuff like that. And we mentor them at the same time. And we got a community garden that we work with, and plus we like say people who need community service hours, we provide that too. Yeah. I think I might be leaving out some others. So we working on something big. I can't talk about right now, but we working on something real big, and hopefully that come through. You know what I'm saying? I'll kind of let y'all know about that when that goes through. Some things I can't talk about because when you got a board, and even though I'm the founder, it don't work that way. I just got something I can't talk about. But that's enough right there. Y'all get a gist of what my nonprofit about. So yeah, and we deal a lot in politics to a certain degree because remember, a lot of people don't understand politics. Even though the church do it, they are a nonprofit. You're not supposed to get involved in politics when you're nonprofit, which we don't. But you know what I'm saying? Like we deal with a lot of politicians to get certain contracts. So I would say this. I tell people that's why local government is important because without getting local officials in office to help you push certain stuff, we don't get these contracts, and that's how everybody else getting contracts because they got their people in office. So politics does matter when it comes on a local level. I'll let my plane.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, how many mentors would you say you have
What you mean
in
by
your?
like, you mean the organization?
Yes.
Okay, well, we know we're not like per se a big organization. One thing I learned is it's not the size of how many members you have, it's your connections. We use all our connections. So we pretty much we got like so we might have like 20 mentors, but we have we tied in with other programs, other groups, you know what I'm saying, to work with us. Like for instance with the community cleanup we do with the kids the program we have every summer, we are linking up with the housing authority this year. That's major because they got a lot of kids, you know what I'm saying, and they're working with us too. So yeah, that's how we pretty much do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How
Because
many?
the
How
thing,
many?
yeah.
About how
Mhm.
many children do you think you get to work with every summer?
Well, it varies. Like man, we have like 50 kids that like we go to the school we go to to talk to the kids about the program, stuff like that. A lot, about 50 to 100 be interested in when it's time when it's time to do the work. You might get 25 to 30 pop up. You know what I'm saying? It all depends. And
Okay.
it depends on the parents too. Because a lot of people, I'm one thing about it, I hate to say, a lot of times we talk a lot of talk. We talk that talk in our community, but like it's no programs for our kids and ain't got nothing for the kids to do. But when we offer these programs, y'all don't even want to bring the kids up. And it's free program, and getting paid for it. So yeah, we witness that a lot. But we got
And
kids
that's
from
what made me
last year.
ask that. That's why I
Mhm.
asked that because, for anybody that's saying that nobody's doing anything in the community, and knocking black growth, I don't think we see it like that. Like he just said, 50 to 100, children, but 25 might stay. That's standard with a whole lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that there's still progress, that's important. That's to be applauded. So we have to stop saying that we don't see positive black growth and empowerment in our communities because you're not looking for it and you're not a part of it, if that's the case. And I'm gonna land my plane because Pablo just popped in.
Pablo, what's
Hey,
up, brother?
Pablo,
hey, Pablo.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want
Let me know
to
I had to pull up, Evans.
Pat, what's
I want to
going
say it's
on?
outstanding that you started out as a book club and grew that. That is great.
Yeah, and you know how it always be when you first. It always start with people. A lot of people, then a lot of people leave. That's just part of any organization and stuff. I mean, how I feel it is some people just in it for the moment. Then you find because I didn't really get serious to like. Well, I'm saying for one thing I learned about nonprofits, I didn't know how to. That's why I say you got to have a team. Like we got a team. Like you got to know how to structure an organization because a lot of times people just be all over the place. I was doing everything myself. Then our spiritual advisor, like old head, like my dad age, he like, look, D, you're doing it wrong. You a visionary, that's good, but let's come in and start to structure this thing because it's you're gonna remain just a community organization, and it's so much out there, resources out there for you. And now, yeah, we seeing it. It's crazy. Like I said, we some things I can't talk about on here, but yeah, we got some major moves we making. You know what I'm saying? Once it's official, I can talk about it, but right now I can't mention it. But yeah, I mean, we plugged in with some heavy weighters here in Atlanta. When it comes to like politicians and stuff like that. Yeah, what's going on, Pablo?
Yeah, the touch on the thing about the programs. It seems like because we run into the same problem where when something happens like it's like that fluff of emotion, that spark, and then like they be gung ho, they all for it, and then suddenly when that moment is over, they start fading up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that feel good medicine. Exactly.
I mean, like when, like for example, when the George Floyd thing happened, all black people, well, majority of black people wanted to get involved in some sort of movement, and we saw that they didn't necessarily want to come to our organization. They wanted to go to something like Black Lives Matter because it offered them that feel good medicine because they knew. I think deep down we all knew that Black Lives Matter was not a serious movement, and where it was headed, it went exactly where we predicted it was going to go. And I think for a lot of us, we wanted that because we didn't want to take the risk of doing anything serious or substantial, but we wanted to have that feeling like we did.
and I
And
agree.
Exactly.
And that's why the UEOA is not a movement. It is definitely a stance, and a foundation because nobody really cares about how you feel over here. We are very compassionate. Nobody cares about how you feel. What is the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do? I don't think a lot of people understand that. And that's what I said. We've had these conversations in the past. I know we've talked about holding quote unquote black leaders and black celebrities and elites responsible and accountable. And I don't think they've asked for that. I didn't ask to be accountable for things, but I have to. And I understand that. Everybody doesn't understand that though. And you got to kind of meet people where they are. You have to meet them or leave them where they are. I can't change anybody. I can't change your mind. I can't change how you think. Um, I'm open to readjust and grow, but everybody's not for that. So the UL is definitely here for that, but it's very difficult for people if you don't understand things, and that's why we try to be relevant and show you better than we can tell you. Because
One thing that I've noticed from experience. So when we're out dealing with homeless situations, in particular with our people, I mean, we're gonna help whoever's there, of course. If somebody is in need, we're gonna help. But we primarily try to focus on our own. And it's like this wonderment amongst even with black homeless people, like they will sit there in the situation and they really think in the back of their mind that some white savior is going to pull up sooner or later and end the situation for them. That somebody's going to show up and help. And even though, and if you would stand there and talk to them like, look, man, ain't nobody coming to save you. That's why we out here. We gotta do for ourselves. I mean, even if you get biblical with it, I mean, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And you try to disseminate information, do this, do that. I've actually had people tell me, um, we don't need any food programs. We got enough to eat out here. And then I started like taking inventory. I'm like, you know what? That individual was actually right. I said, you got like several nonprofits all doing the same thing with giving out groceries and food and things like that. And then I said, this is like some kind of a mindset or a complex to where you will literally sit there day by day by day thinking that someone white is going to do something sooner or later. And you don't see no hope, no reason for getting up with your black self and putting it together. Then on top of that, we got this communal thing to where it literally takes an act of God for us to stick together for anything. Unless the only times we want to stick together when it's something destructive or to
okay,
exploit ourselves.
so here's my take with the homeless situation and the white savior thing. I think that in those situations, and not everybody, but I think there are things that are circumstantial and individualized. But a lot of them have been accustomed to their way of living now. And with that situation, their concept and their perspective is as a as a black individual out on the mediums with the signs, is that a white person is more likely to give them change or whatnot than a black person. And that might be so. What difference does it make? Because my blackness is going to ask you, I'll give you $20, but I need you to hand out these business cards for my businesses, and I'm gonna sit here and make sure you do. If you want to, like I'm asking questions like, what do you need? Why are you out here? I'm asking questions. Like, don't make me get out there. I'm not giving anything to anybody. But if those ones that want to save everybody, not whatnot, I'm not doing it. So I think that's that perspective. They will hold up a damn red light to be giving somebody change. And you slow mo walking down the medium, like everybody got time in the world to wait for you to get this change from somebody. So I think there's a lack of accountability. I think we're waiting on somebody. I think the concept of waiting on God and friends is just an excuse to have a lack of accountability. Like I said, D Mays with this situation, like he's been positive the whole way through, regardless, has not asked for anything, and been grateful for everything. I want my blessings from everywhere, and that includes all the haves and not the have-nots. I don't care what you look like. You can be red and yellow, black and white, all that nonsense. I don't care. That's where I'm at with it. Doesn't mean I gotta play by your rules though. You can bless and move on. That's what you can do. So that's my take on that. That's my thought. That's not pertaining to D Mays and his support. Don't make him. That's me being me.
No, you good.
I'm
D
just
Mays,
saying.
can I ask a quick question? Where you're at in Atlanta, is it primarily black or is it changing? Is the color scheme by you changing
It all
rapidly?
depends where you stay at. Yeah, all depends where you stay at. Mhm. Yeah, because it is though. Gentrification is hitting hard over here. So yeah, it is changing, but it all depends where you stay. But it is happening though. Hmm.
How long have you lived there in Atlanta? Did you grow up in Atlanta?
I stay actually like in Newnan, Georgia, but I went to school like in the metro Atlanta area. Yes, but yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with the gentrification, like, do you think like it got more melanated and now it's kind of reverting back, or what's happening?
Say it again.
Like when you were growing up, was it mostly black populated?
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it was more black populated. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And now, like I said, with gentrification and people moving from coming from different places and stuff, it's just like people can't afford to live here no more. Like a lot of people can't afford to live in the neighborhoods because it's so expensive with property taxes and stuff like that. Hmm.
That's so wild. And again, that's why you all should support, because like I want you all to think about your situations. And like as we're talking about DMAs, like I really want y'all to start thinking about your finances in the long run and emergency funds, because if you don't have your stuff in alignment, like D Mays was good living where he was living, but not him, but somebody else, you might have a situation like that. Now your credit score is not where you want it to be. Your finances have shifted. Maybe you're in between jobs and now you're trying to get an apartment or a house, and now it's difficult, and you're coming out of all these resources. So we have to really think about those things. And that's why Black unity is important, and not knocking one another. If you don't know no decent Black people, if you can say, that's why Black men this and Black women that, with an attitude, then it's probably you and it's what you're attracting. Because I don't know no raggedy Black people. I don't deal with raggedy Black people. I know of them and I choose not to deal with them. And it's a choice, but it's what you attract. So as far as the UEOA, we attract positivity, um, and empowerment. Like we said, D Mays has his nonprofit. He's going through. You got to keep stuff going, and somebody's relying on him. Our Black youth is relying on him in Georgia. Communities are relying on him. His family is relying on him. So just keep that in mind when we're thinking about what we support. Pablo's back in the house.
Oh, what happened? I got an error and it booted me out, but Oz is back.
Pablo's everywhere, doing everything. You're the busiest man.
So, do y'all think that as we head into the, well, not we officially are in the summer months, do y'all think that when it comes to our community and the programs and things that we're running, that it might be time to rethink certain things?
As far as what?
I don't know. It kind of seems like a lot of the ways that we have been doing things with the programs and stuff. Of course, parents are sometimes an obstacle because they'll something happen, like maybe the kid got an issue at school, whatever. They'll be, again, the emotional phase. They'll, let's do it, blah, blah, blah. But then when the rubber meets the road, they don't be pulling up and coming through and things. So you think that maybe as far as the way we do the programs and things, that we might need to start trying some different methods or techniques to try to get. I mean, if you think about it, if you were a child, especially as you get toward the teenage years, what will we be able to do that makes something more interesting than getting lured into the gangs and all the stuff that they do to destroy themselves? Like what
You
what makes
know,
it?
I thought about that the other day, about a week or so ago. And I was thinking, like, I'm in Indiana, so we have like the Boys and Girls Club. We had the YMCA. My children went to the YMCA for a summer camp. But when they went there, I was working as a server, making 213-hour plus tips. So I was able to have them go off of a sliding scale. But I still paid like at least maybe like $200 of them, you know. So imagine what I would have paid full coverage. But I think having summer programs, especially for our Black youth, That's why I was asking D Mays about his nonprofit. There's so many people that are doing things that we don't even know about, doing things in the communities, that we need to highlight, because I don't think we're connecting with one another together. Where D Mays is in Atlanta, Mr. P is down there, but he's somewhere else. But what can we do collectively where it makes a difference nationwide? So if the UEOA is doing, sports, or summer camps, whatever, we want to do it nationwide so people have access to it. I think having skills, learning how to swim, learning how to shoot, learning how to, CPR, learning martial arts, learning how to cook and clean, home economics, workshop, things that we used to have in school that we don't now. Those are very vital keys. The STEM programs, those are awesome things to have during the summer. Why do we have all these empty buildings but we can't use them though? And if you try to use them, then you're trespassing or you're loitering. But we can't use those for homeless people. We can't use them for summer programs because they belong to who?
Yeah, it gets kind of, I don't know. It kind of feels. I think maybe the price is a barrier for some of it because, like, we are in our community, the average person is spending about 70% or more on rent alone, and then you add in the bills and having to get food and everything. So when you come along talking about $400 for such and such summer program, they're like, oh, it's a nice idea, but hey. So
Yeah.
affordability
It's
is a
just enough to
problem.
where you can't write it off as an expense in your taxes.
Yeah, and it's kind of, it seems like it's kind of like a rigged game, which I know it actually is a rigged game. They don't want us to pull ahead by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm think in my mind I'm thinking like I mean, we would like to offer the programs for free, but then again, like you can't do the stuff for free. So that's why I said maybe it's time to
Why
rethink.
can't you? Why? Let me ask you a question. Why can't you? Because my husband did a research, and I think, like, in the United States, there is one church for every 1,000 people. I think he said Korea, there are 4 churches in Korea. One church for every 1,000 people in the United States. So there's a liquor store, a gas station, a church. Liquor store, gas station, church. CVS, liquor store, gas station, church, Walgreens. So you telling me that all these nonprofit 501c3s that can write things off, you can't offer free summer programs and have the government pay for that? The devil and friends and everybody else saying that shit is a lie. That is a
Yeah, I
lie.
mean, it's kind of like, see, like part of the problem is like with the nonprofits, for example. This is one of the things we got going on. I don't know where everybody in you guys' areas, but out here, we all remember when Biden and Harris put out that money to get to the basically to lure in the nonprofits. I don't know how public they were about that, but everybody that was in on the ground knew about. A lot of those nonprofits did just what LASA did, which is the homeless program that's in hot water right now for that 800, what was it, 800 million, whatever it was they stole from the homeless program. That's what most of these nonprofits did. They pocketed the money, and they really didn't help anybody, especially black people. They left us out in the cold. So that's another reason why the homeless population here ballooned the way it did, because these groups took all that money. These nonprofits, they were getting these write-offs and also getting money in the pocket, and what they would do is funnel it down through other like the I'll use Lassa for an example. Her husband had some sort of nonprofit or some business, whatever, in Inglewood, and all that money that they stole, she was basically funneling it over and laundering it basically through his nonprofit, and wasn't nobody being helped on the street. So
That's crazy.
I think part of it is, and again, this is from experience. Remember online we did this series about what black people experience. This is the other side of the token with the homeless thing. What I said earlier happened. It happens And that's a part of the story. But a bigger part of the story is a lot of people are sitting out here just because they have a low FICO score, and they would say, "Hey, when we try to get help, nobody ever responds. We can't get nobody shows up. We did all the things they told us that you're supposed to do, and we got nothing." That's how the 1-year-old ended up dying at $1 trillion airport at the bus stop. The mother said, "Hey, we contacted the homeless program. We did this, we did that. I was working. I lost my place because it cost too much for the rent and da da da. Then her car broke down. She was working for Uber, delivering. I don't know if she was delivering food or driving or both. Her car breaks down. So that's how they ended up at the bus stop. And she was like, yes, we called all these programs and we didn't get no help. And now we see why. So I think in regards to the program, that is another side of the token. Affordability is one factor, and then trust is the next factor, because a lot of people are starting to catch on to the fact that these nonprofits are all about self-profit. And so, and then we get down to the church part of it. So with the church, this is not for all churches, but it seems to be that the church doesn't want to get involved, especially when it comes to helping the black community. Now they don't mind helping the Jews, the Juby Dooby Doos. They don't mind helping white people. They don't mind helping Latinos and all that. But when it particularly comes to us, there seems to be some kind of a special problem where it seemed like some kind of a sin to help or get involved in stuff. And we've had like pastors I know that know what we do, know we out here, know we attend church still and everything like that, and they will help everybody but the black people. And these are black
So you're
pastors.
telling me that black churches are helping other people, other ethnicities?
Yeah, that they will, like, if you've gone to church for a year, you sitting there and seen how they'll celebrate Cinco de Mayo. They'll go, oh, let's raise money for the kids that are affected by the things in Mexico for the with Trump deporting people and all that. They
You in
always get
LA?
involved in everybody else's affairs except for ours.
Oh, we don't do that here. I forgot you in LA with the real melting pot. We don't. I'm not familiar with that here, but I
I
will
mean,
say,
some of the black churches are still old school and old fashioned, because a lot of us forget that the Black Power movement began in the black church, and I know in the black power in the black community, a lot of people always talk down on the church, and it's like literally Harriet Tubman was a Christian, so the Black Power movement began in the church. That's how we had the railroad and everything like that. But somewhere along the line, it's gotten kind of whiteified, and it's like, so say like where D Mays is at. Is that not where King Randall has this situation going on at?
D Mays.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, my fault. I was on the phone, y'all. Sorry about that. It was important. But yeah, he's at King Randall. Yeah, he's in Albany, Georgia. Yeah.
So the question would be is this. So you got Jamal Bryant there, pastor of a mega church. Why isn't that church out there doing what King Randall is doing for these boys?
Exactly. I
And
agree with
that's the
that.
thing. They don't because they don't have to be held accountable. That's what I'm saying. We have to stop looking at black individuals that are in high positions like they're supposed to be leaders when clearly you're not. Like, and if you're saying they are, then you're a damn lie. And where's your proof? All because TD Jakes in the pulpit and he has a mega church. So what? They be doing the wackest things. Politicians be doing the wackest things. Quote unquote black leaders, they do the wackest things. Like nobody cares about your title. What are you doing? And
That,
we look at Christianity, and I think when we look at Christianity, we look at the black church more so apostolic and Baptist type. But there are like over 1,000 different branches of Christianity alone,
oh
and
yeah.
we're the only Christian branch with this nonsensical rhetoric that makes no sense, and we go along with it. And when you ask somebody why they think that, well, just because the Bible says, because God says, but you don't even know. So you're foolish and you're ignorant and you're just spewing foolishness. And so you're following foolishness. A broke clock is right 2 times a day. So I want
Yeah,
to see
yeah, and
what
that's
worth
and that's
is.
exactly what I was touching on right there. Because it's like a lot of these pastors. I mean, there's pockets of where the black church is still doing what it's supposed to be doing and what it used to do from way back. But more often than not, what's going on is exactly what I was just talking about, to where they'll get involved with every, like Jamal Bryant, he was all on board with Kamala and Joe, but where is he at to help these boys? He out here talking about using church properties to get into the dispensary business, but he can't help these boys. And it's like it seems like all the groups that we used to depend on have betrayed us. We talking about the NAACP, the Black Church, all these different groups. That's why I'm saying maybe it's time to rethink this whole ball of wax of how we reach our people as far as the programs we do and how to do the program and things like that. Because a lot of these programs we talking about doing and are doing, this stuff used to be done at the church. They don't now. The church does, like, they'll feed people like one Saturday of the month now, where you got people like us that'll be out here doing it every day or every week or twice a week or whatever, and the church would do it only once a month.
Yeah, we got to be boots on the ground. That's the bottom line. I think it's time to start relying on other people and rely on self, and let self help other people. You know, that's where I'm at with it. That Jamal Bryant is a horrible example. I wouldn't want him trying to empower boys because he can't keep his manhood together long enough to do that. So do you really want
Bishop
Jamal
Petey.
Bryant telling somebody in his congregation who's applauding his whorish ways to be educating anybody? I don't.
And this is another thing I've noticed too as well. So say, like, if I show up to Sunday service and I'm not in the traditional Black church garb, I ain't got the suit and tie on. If I go in there dressed like a Black Panther in our uniform, or whatever, or if I go in there dressed in an ethnic way, like if I'm dressing in an Alkebulan way, they look at you weird for being Black. Now at this point, I don't know if it's like that where y'all are, but out here, it seems like there's some kind of shame in the church about being Black, and then so that trickles down into why they don't want to get involved in certain community situations unless everybody's involved. They can't specifically, like we hear the politicians, especially Democrats, say it all the time. We can't do nothing specifically for you, but hey, you did something for the Asians, you did something for the this and that. You named them by name, but why can't we get named by name? Why are we like the dirty secret? So it's kind of like on the street with the programs. That is another bad aspect of it, is the kids ain't stupid. They see this stuff, and then, like, how you used to have vacation Bible school and things like that. So the kids will see this stuff and they're starting to go, wait a minute, why is every other group getting like special attention or getting a certain attention, whatever, but when it comes to us, it has to be everybody involved or we get nothing.
Because we don't see it like that, because we see it like we don't see about any other group. We see it like God's just gonna make a way out of no way. Just keep praying and believing and trusting and waiting and hoping. So that's sustainable for us. You don't want to be boots on the ground and boots on somebody's neck. But that's scripture too. But you don't want to do that. So again, it's self-accountability, and just knowing truth. And I'm not talking about biblical truth, just knowing truth. And we don't want to do that. The fact that we continue to enjoy and flock to the words of our oppressors and cling on to that in itself is asinine. So what do you tell somebody? What do you do with somebody that don't want to hear nothing other than that? Either you make them do what you want or you just leave them alone. Like D-May said, everybody gonna make it. And that's a real hard truth for us as Black people, because we are built out of compassion and forgiveness and kindness, genuinely. Despite how we are viewed as being thugs and aggressive and angry and all this stuff, that's not the truth. There's a right to be that way, and at some point there's a reason to not be. I'm tired of being angry. If you want to see me angry, like, I need to get my funds up for bail money. I don't want to be angry and broke. That's not a good combination. I can be boots on the ground though and flourish, And I think with the the Black Panthers and things like that, They didn't start in the church. I think there was a foundation of a church, but they were street. They about that street life. So when we're talking about a church, you're talking about a building, but like the church goes out to the streets. The church hangs out in the trap houses and the whorehouses.
That's how church was. Matter of fact, one of the elder Panthers from the original party was telling us, he was like, yeah, we would, when we first started out, they were saying that the church used to always help. They would help with the breakfast program, help with all the different stuff. And I said, fast forward to now, you'd be lucky to get a pastor to show up unless they're getting paid for it or something like that. But I mean, even like now, like if I were like an 18-year-old and I just did some quick research, I would have to ask myself, man, what happened to the NAACP? Like, how do we get to where we are now? And it seems like all the stuff that we used to have as a community has all faded and fallen apart, and it's time for something absolutely new from scratch. It's like out here we had a pastor up in the Bay Area, a NAAC member and a pastor talking about we didn't need reparations. It was actually working against it.
That's crazy, but there is a change. There's a different shift going on. Don't know how to explain it. It's probably people are more individualized. That could be it.
I don't know. You know what? My pastor that I grew up, that watched me grow up, and I'm not in church anymore, but my pastor, that literally watched me grow up. And I remember him saying years ago when I was younger, he was talking about there's going to come a point in time where, like, pastors and, church leaders were going to be in jeopardy for speaking the truth, and how dangerous that would be. And I heard him speak that years ago. And now I'm seeing it. They're not going to tell you the truth because you don't know who's ringing their phones, threatening them because some, live stream church service they had went viral somewhere and pissed somebody off. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what that looks like. That's what I said with the UEOA. I don't think we need to be telling everybody our business. Like, whoever's listening, like, we want you to join. That's why we shared D Maze's, story as far as UEOA, or excuse me, with nonprofit. We want different individuals, but you will be screened. There will be no infiltration over here. Pablo's the one, and I'm not gonna get into it. Pablo's the one with that training for militant discipline. Like you.
Oh yeah. We've learned our lesson from history, and if we think about it, if we're going to be like brutally factual, the most successful Black revolution on the planet to date has been the Haitian Revolution. But what was the nucleus of that revolution that made it successful? And that was getting to the point to go, you know what? Everybody ain't gonna make it. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Some Negroes is just gonna have to be dealt with. It just sometimes you gotta get to that point to realize, and I think that's where our struggle in the Black American community is. We've allowed the oppressor to browbeat us to where we don't have that brotherly love and community love the way we used to. Because like I remember when I was a kid, everybody used to call each other brother, and it meant like we were all blood brothers, basically like we all Black. And you knew, like I knew when I was a kid, if I ever had any trouble going on, when I went somewhere and I saw another Black person, another Black man, I knew that I was gonna be safe. And it ain't like that no more. And like I said, I've had to sit down and deprogram myself from that, seeing my own as the enemy from coming out of the streets and everything. So I had to deprogram myself so I know like what that feels like, because it's been programmed into us. I mean, listen to our music for the past couple of decades. Ever since gangster rap took off, we have been programmed to see each other as the enemy. And so you gotta like decompress and deprogram. So I think looking at the younger people now, they're starting to notice all this stuff. And they're like, you know what, we do need to get back. A lot of them are saying, yeah, we need to get back to the way things was in the 60s and the early 70s. We need to get our love back, and we need to get back together as a people. And that I'm thinking program wise, like maybe that's probably the direction the programs might want to go, is because that's what the younger people are looking for. And then, and as fate would have it, the older people are looking for the same thing. They're like, man, I remember when we used to do such and such and such. We used to have skating rinks. We used to do this. We used to do that. And I'm starting to notice with the younger people also that are those are not brainwashed, of course, and fully into this white American culture, we're not trying to do whatever to be a part of it. They're starting to look at these mobile devices and go, you know what? I think it's time to sit this thing down and start to experience life the way life is meant to be experienced and come off of this thing. And so a lot of them are starting. That's why even the social media apps are seeing a downturn. You've seen outside of the Trump effect, you've seen even Zuckerberg talking about it's time to start changing the way things are done and this and that because they know what's going on here. The younger generation is starting to say, you know what, we need to have that missing something's missing and we need to get that back.
I think the younger generation is looking at, they don't even know what's missing because it's so far gone. They just know that something's jacked up and there's no rhyme or reason for them to understand that, but something's jacked up. They're a whole different breed and they can't figure it out, but they will. And the more we try to suppress them and make it like they're crazy and all these mental illnesses and all this nonsense, it's destructive. They know.
Yeah, it seems like you know like that saying where you could hug a person until they shatter, and I think that's what we've done. And as strange as it would sound, I saw it in music. I remember, if y'all remember, this might have been last year, I think it was, or maybe year before last, when LL Cool J started going back on tours again and doing shows again.
What?
And he said the reason he was doing this is because he found that young people fell in love with his performances. And I looked at that and I said, let me see what's going on here. And I started myself to get back into the music circles and things like that. And it was true. The younger people are going, man, we are tired of hearing about drugs and gaming and shooting and killing. We want some art. We want an experience. And they would be like, we would watch these old hip hop shows and we want that. We want that experience. And that's why LL Cool J started doing that. And it got to the point that they were starting to walk out of the concerts and stuff for the modern rappers and all that. They would walk out of the concerts and they would pack out the LL Cool J show. So it started to become a tour thing where all the rappers from that generation, from the previous generation, started touring together, and younger people loved it. And I said, see, I think that's the direction that everything is heading. Is that they're seeing that all this stuff that we've been sold as a lie and it's not leading us anywhere. We need to get back into life the way life is meant to be and get off of this American fast track to nowhere.
We need to return to the 70s.
Yep. And like, like when I tell them about what we do, about what the UEOA does, and I tell them about the territories and things like that, I said, can you imagine the burden and stress lift off of you when you are not talking about 80% of your income going to rent, when you can walk outside, every tree, every bush has something that you can just reach out and grab it and get something to eat right there if you ain't got nothing. A place where you ain't got to go through all these burdens and pressures and live like that simple African or indigenous life the way we were meant to. This stuff is like, it's not in our DNA to live like this.
No. No. You try to tell somebody that, like, they don't want that until it's too late. So again, like D May said, everybody ain't gonna make it.
And we have been getting responses there like, man, we want to get on board with this, because it's like some like even like 17, 18-year-olds, they're like, man, I don't plan on going to college to go get this fancy degree and come out and hope I get a job. And even if I do get a job, I gotta sell my soul to get a position or sell something else to get a position, or either I'm gonna be struggling trying to pay off all this money I spent on this degree and not find a job and working at some kind of Amazon or whatever. There's like, I don't want that life. And I want to do something different. And I was like, hey, here we are.
That's exactly where we are. This is exactly where we are. So I think we need to definitely invest in the youth. Like you said, with programs, especially entrepreneurship programs. I think it's going to be so important. I was so frustrated. My youngest son not going to college. He was going to be a mechanical engineer, and like his senior year, he was like, nope. He wanted to be a firefighter. I'm like, what the hell? He went for his test or whatever. He did great and didn't get in, but now he's an EMT. Like he was not doing it, you know? So we have to start telling people that that's the only way to make it, but we have to give them options. And we cannot assume that somebody knows something because it's not true. People will sit there and nod and be like, yeah, yeah. When you're talking, they don't even know what the hell you're talking about because they just don't want to feel like they're stupid or insignificant or out of the loop of the conversation. So we have to do our due diligence with explaining things to people. And just like negative, like the 1% can coerce people to do whatever they want them to do, we can do the same thing. So that's what we need to get to. And that's what I have to say about that. So again, support the UEOA. Queen Kathy B has amazing information. If you go to Kathy B 606 on YouTube, amazing information about growing your own food. She has a link for hydroponics and aquaponics on there. I have got to get one. I'm gonna be honest, I have not got mine yet. I've seen hers where she's growing her own produce indoors. Like I'm so fascinated with it. But I have to do my part and get on it. So I can live vicariously through her or I can
Thank
do it
you,
myself.
Queen. Thank you.
Absolutely. I love it. I know her and Queen Lynn were talking about wild lettuce. Wild lettuce. Do y'all want to explain what wild lettuce is? I don't want to keep talking.
Yeah, Pablo
Jessica,
is
you take that.
growing wild lettuce
Oh.
too.
Mm.
Pablo has a nice garden, some nice tomatoes and stuff. So um, it doesn't take much, and you could do it anywhere, inside or outside. So
What are the benefits of the wild lettuce?
basically, it's used for pain. So you can make a tincture out of it, or some people just, I guess, put it on their tongue. Once they break it, it's like a white substance that comes out.
Kind of like aloe
I'm gonna
vera.
say, no, I'm gonna say it's similar to maybe opioid, I guess. Like an opioid plant. It's like the white stuff in there, and opioid is for pain. I think it's similar to that, but it doesn't have like the effects that an opioid does.
Where can
And
you
it
get
just
it
grows.
to start growing
It,
it?
it just grows it grows wild. You probably already have some in your yard. You just don't know that that's what it is. I know Lynn was looking. What she found wasn't, but keep looking because it just comes. It comes up.
Yeah.
And most people
I
look at
had
it
something
probably as
called
a weed. They think it's a
right. I
weed,
had
but that's
something
what we
called
thought it
Canada.
was. Oh,
My
okay.
yard
Yours.
has something called Canada lettuce, but because I
Okay.
have people who have their dogs walk in my grass, not in my backyard, but in the front, I don't know how safe this stuff is. And I got cars and all kinds of stuff over here. So, and my backyard is not fenced in. So I can't keep the
Oh,
nonsense out. So I did not try to consume any. I had a lot of stuff growing. Red clover, dandelion, a lot of stuff was growing wild in my backyard. Something that I just bought from a lady called ribwort. Nothing but ribwort in my backyard, and I'm paying for it.
Oh
wow.
my. So yeah,
So
you all
maybe you
so
can
much
fence it.
information.
Maybe you
So much
can fence it or
information.
fence that part off, Lynn, the plants.
Uh-uh.
Maybe you can fence that part.
That's the
Like
front.
put
They don't want us in the front. This is so dumb and stupid. I'm from New York. In New York, we want our whole place fenced in. They only want us to fence in the back. So in the front is where the good stuff is. The ribwort is all in the back, but the lettuce, the
uh,
Canada lettuce, is in the front where I can't fence it in, according to this dumb HOA. But I'm not going to say what I want to happen to the HOA members. I'm gonna mind my business on that.
Oh Lord, don't say it. Don't say it.
So what I have to resort to is gummies to deal with my pain because I can't eat what's in my backyard.
mm,
But you could do like Queen Kathy has, like you can do the aquaponics or the hydroponics and do
Right.
it
We
inside.
have something going right now inside. We got some herbs in the windowsill, and well. I don't know how they're doing right now because I've left the premises, so I don't know if they're crying because I'm the
Oh
only one that would
Lord.
water them. But
Oh,
they were growing. They were really growing.
Lordy have mercy. So yeah, there's other options, you all. That's what we do though. We give all kinds of resources and empowerment for the black community. And there's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, being black first. And for me, I think it's a excuse my language, it's a shitty thing to have to say to be black first because
That's what I
I think
wanted to say
saying that
for Pablo. I wanted to interject with Pablo when he says when he comes dressing black first in the church, they look at him like he's crazy. That's what I wanted. That's what I thought in my head because he's embracing his blackness, and they're like, "Who are you?" I'm Pablo. Who are you? I'm the preacher.
yeah, because anymore rock, you know, in Indiana, like people come with they saggy pants and their breasts out and the shoulders out, and it's a whole lot of unholiness looking stuff, you know, according to whatever, you know. So you know, I think saying being black first sucks because it's um in opposition of us being last all the time, you know. And so to have to say I see myself as black first, you know, we should just be able to be who we are, period, point blank, and just be seen as decent people or not. And that's what the United Empires of Cuba line is about, is building that micronation and that solidarity, regardless of what group, tribe, you know, whatever you have going on, organization. We're not trying to take that away from you. If you're with, you know, you what's it, ADOS or FBA, that's fine, do your thing. But we still want you all to, we want everyone to unite where we can collaborate and not fall under the one umbrella, but just kind of collaborate in unity. And there's nothing wrong with that. That should not be scary for anybody. And if anybody has anything to say about, you know, well, everybody else gets along, everybody else, you know, unifies, you know, da da da. If that's how you feel, then you should be collaborating with us because that's what we're doing. Otherwise, you're just talking trash. And you probably the one that D Mays is talking about. You probably ain't gonna make it. So,
Everybody not gonna make it.
mm-mm. So with that being said, anybody else have anything going on? Anybody wants to say anything? I do want to put this Cash App link back up real quick before we go. Again, that
Sorry,
link
y'all.
is
Sorry, y'all. I was on the phone, important phone call. But yeah. What'd you say? You asked me something. Sorry about that.
no, I was just saying, you're quoting you. Everybody ain't gonna make it.
Exactly.
It's all right.
I would
It's all
just be
right.
happy when the black people who want to do something, make change, get together and start building our communities. That's what I'm waiting on. That is what I'm waiting on. I was thinking of going into the woods. Then my kids keep saying, you can't do anything, blah, 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 blah. Negative Nancy, negative Nancy, negative Nancy. So I'm thinking, I said, well, maybe do I need to stay in the metropolis area? Because I'm in a condo. Lots of people are here. When the guns start shooting off, will I be better off here or in the woods? I have to think about that. I still want to get to the woods, but if we all get together, pool our resources, and build our communities and put our wall up around it, we will all be safe. I'm tired of waiting.
And that's why I say everybody needs to be screened because we would hate to it would really be unfortunate to have to take somebody out in our own
That is true. No,
environment.
people like that are normally not going to connect with you. If they are dangerous minded, they're not going to connect with somebody who is loving minded. I don't think. I don't think they
I think
mesh.
so. Look at the
I
Black
could be
Panthers.
wrong.
Look at the Black Panthers, how they were infiltrated using black people. You know, what is it? Operation, oh, what was it? Oh my
It's
God.
not push, not Operation Push, but that was orchestrated by those other people. We by ourselves probably weren't thinking like that until somebody else came and put that idea in our head. Yeah, I can do that. Those people are not going to want to connect with us, the shady ones, because we got work to do and they're not going to want to do the work.
I
That's
don't
just my
know. Did you
opinion.
see? And then we're gonna get out of here, y'all. But did you see the thing with Michi X? It was like maybe a month or so ago, and she was somewhat religious. I can't remember what it was, but she had a white guy on there, and he was talking about how he was asking questions, and he was like, well, you've been on our radar, but we like you now because you voted for Trump. And she was like, well, if I didn't vote for Trump, or if I didn't support Trump, whatever she said, he was like, but you did, but you've been on our radar. And she was like, you mean to tell me you've been watching me? He was like, yeah, we watch people like you. We talk about people like you. So for us, like we ask for the $10 a month in support for the the website. $10 is nothing for somebody to come infiltrating something, being nosy. People do have time for that. It's a waste of my time, but somebody has time for that. $10 ain't nothing for somebody to infiltrate something. So yeah, everybody, if y'all listening, you will be screened. Don't be offended. We want to see your face. We want to see your driver's license with your face, because it's serious. This is serious what we're doing. Black Wall Street was way bigger than what we're doing right now.
Right.
And we're going to get beyond that. But like, that was huge. And for whatever reason, that was a bother to people that weren't even thought of in that community. So yeah, what we're doing is serious. So if that's what you're about, we do want you. And it is scary to be a part of something that we're like what we're doing. But if we stick together, don't come over here. It's the wrong place to be coming. I've talked about this with people on this platform. We're buying land. Shout out to Queen Kathy and Queen Tina, putting that work in, putting those finances in. I want land for cemeteries and burial plots. Please don't come doing that over here.
We can't afford cemeteries. Just burn the bodies. We need the land
Why
for
not?
ourselves.
Sure we can. Sure
Or,
we can. We can afford
or
whatever we want. Yes, we can.
put them in the river. Don't waste land to bury people.
Oh,
I think that's a waste.
no, it's not. It's not. You feed the earth. Just give back to the earth. Somebody gonna eat it. It's all right. No. It's okay. We can't be dropping people off in the river. DNA is too very thorough anymore. This hair sheds. I ain't got time for it. No, you can go under somebody's grandma. Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust. That is the end. Anybody got anything else before I start talking crazy?
No,
Sorry,
I
y'all.
just
I'm trying to handle this business, y'all. Sorry about that, but I appreciate y'all.
no problem. We're gonna get off. But if you can donate to help teammates out, please consider doing so because you never
Yeah.
know when you might need our help as well. We appreciate any and every offer. Thank you.
Absolutely. We wish
Appreciate
you
y'all.
peace, love, and blessings. Until next time.
Peace.
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 Good night.